Ahoy viewers! Welcome to the Yonko Podcast with me, Alex Chuan, and our crew, Burke, Ryan, and Brock. Today, we're reviewing One Piece chapter 1009. We got monsters, we got a rooftop, and we got strategy. Let's set sail! We're in hell. That's chapter 1009, boys. 1009.
Nice intro.
I think it's a pretty good intro.
That was a pretty good intro.
That was great.
You know what's a better intro? This super wholesome color panel with all of them in the snow in Wano and Tama taking Luffy's hat.
Man, what a contrast to the
absolute hell we're going to be in this chapter.
Anyway,
it's pretty cool.
No,
though.
that's awesome.
Brooks there, he's got his guitar. Jinbei's having. Is he just eating snow? Or is that rice balls?
Yeah, he's eating snow rice balls.
I think it's snow rice balls. It's
really exciting. Really.
Sanji and Zoro both drinking some sodas, which I'm pretty sure
that Zoro's has some alcohol.
Absolutely
in it,
has some alcohol in it.
It's probably just pure alcohol.
And that's Tama's dog lion thing.
Yeah,
just smiling over there.
And Tom was her usual adorable self.
I will. It kills me that it's hentai is written on Frankie's jacket.
Oh my god!
You have to zoom into his arm, but
oh
it's
my
god! Are you kidding me?
It's literally hentai.
Fair enough. I mean, he takes it as a compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, I just saw. Just past Thriller Bark. Sabadi, they were fighting the flying fish, and they kept saying a word that was like hentai, and he kept looking at them, going, "Me? You guys talking to me?" Like that was like a part. It was a whole scene. So no, he very much embraces that aspect of himself.
And also, just remember, hentai doesn't inherently just mean porn.
Pervert,
it means
right?
pervert.
A lot of different things. But anyway, we get back to the castle on fire, and I'm surprised that we're getting Orochi and the Scabbards immediately to start the chapter.
Orochi, Kinemon!
Like, I didn't think we would jump right into that. I thought, like, Orochi would run around, do some bad stuff, but...
He's already set the castle on fire. I think his...
his contribution is pretty much...
it's there.
It's a blaze, if you would. But yeah, so that's fun. We get the full transformation. Now, this is an interesting piece. I wanted to zoom in on Orochi's number of heads because I wanted to count since he'd lost his head out of the Hydra form to Kaido earlier if he was lacking a head or not. But the words cover up where the rest of them should be.
It looks like there's 6 heads.
Yeah, but some of the necks go where the word bubbles are, so I think Oda's not revealing that on purpose.
So, well... Here's the thing, so we've all been under the assumption that it is straight up a Hydra fruit.
Yeah. Do we have a name for it? Was the name ever put out into a chapter? I don't remember.
Can somebody check that really quick? Because if we have a name for it and it's not the Hydra fruit, or whatever its subsequent name would be, maybe we've been thinking about this all wrong. Maybe he doesn't actually have a Hydra fruit, but still his ability, like maybe he had 7 heads to start, and Kaido cut off one of those heads, and maybe the Scabbards are finishing the other 6.
Well, it's interesting because...
Okay, so here's the thing. Yeah. Sorry. So it's not the Hydra.
Yeah.
It's actually more fitting than that. And I didn't think about that, but it does have a name. It's the snake fruit model Yamato no Orochi. Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know who Orochi is, he's essentially an evil monster god in Japanese lore, a many-headed snake. Mm. So it's different. It's different than the
Greek myth.
Yeah,
Hydra.
it's actual Japanese.
So what is the mythology? Is there any precedent for Yamato no Orochi having regrowing head capabilities, or is it?
Let me check.
The Orochi dragon from Japanese lore has a regenerative ability. It's not like the Hydra where it grows 2 back each time, but it does have regeneration. Like a pretty absurd... I think Godzilla's... was it Ghidorah? Is that the Godzilla tri-headed monster?
Yeah, the 3-headed monster, yes.
Like crazy high regeneration abilities. So even if it isn't growing 2 heads in one, each time a head gets cut off, it would still have the regeneration ability to where if a head gets cut off, he would regrow it.
It'd bring it back.
But from what you were looking at, Brock,
I thought Ryan already had it, so
okay.
I escaped.
That's
back
fine
in there.
enough. In any case, they very quickly and seemingly easily chopped down every single other head that he popped up there in that form. So it's interesting. So he's lost a head both in his human form and he's lost all of his heads in the Hydra form. So if there's any time for Generation to pop up as his power, next chapter or
further on is where it's going to happen.
Before we skip on past that, though, can we just admire just how dedicated they are to just simply pass him by? Because this is the guy who just messed up their entire lives for the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously Kaido had a play in that, but it started with Orochi.
He was the muscle of it all.
And I mean, some of them aren't necessarily living with the full weight of that 20 years.
Yeah, but still, like, this is the guy who led the destruction to their Lord Odin.
Oh,
and they had every right to make him suffer. I mean, obviously, I doubt this is going to finish him right here. But they had every right to make him suffer. But they know they have more important things to do, and they have people to protect. And I think this is also a callback to the sobering effect Asura Doji's potential death
had
on them.
They can no longer tolerate fools. And
they can't. This is the time for monologues and like tormenting his past. Right. It's now it's about winning.
Yep, it's do it or die. And I'd be surprised if this is where Orochi actually died. It just feels too quick, not big enough.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's dead.
Yeah,
you are.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Orochi's dead.
This is the end of Orochi.
So I don't think Orochi's going down. I think
that's okay. I'm going to be the only one here to say I'm going out on a limb. I think this thematically is a good end for Orochi because it shows, and Orochi's never been a powerful player. He's always had other people to protect him. Even the facade of his death he thought would be enough to protect him in this moment, and he chose the wrong time to either come out of hiding, to try and escape from what he has now done here, and he just so happened to cross paths with the Scabbards. The other reason I am leaning towards him being dead is because of the title of this chapter being Hell, and that literally Kinemon's final words, what I will say are his final words to him, is you will be judged in Hell. Go ahead, Brock.
So, in counter to that, I think Hell might actually refer to the previous chapter when they said that fighting both Yonko at the same time was Hell. And I think that is also... And also, but here's the thing, something we learned from this is a very common trait among the weak tyrant character in a lot of anime and just media in general, is that, they're not much of a challenge until they reach full insanity and they're backed against the wall. Then all of a sudden, they're a feral creature that will destroy an entire... We don't know what he has up his sleeve. We don't, because like he's still.
We also don't know that he necessarily has anything up his sleeve.
But he was a Feudal Lord for 20 years.
The person who I would almost see as being more of what you're talking about is honestly more Kaido to me. Don't get me wrong. Orochi has shown himself to be the piece of shit that he is, who doesn't care about Wano. He literally wants to see Wano burn. But even right now, he is turning his back on Kaido, which, don't get me wrong, it's well-deserved because Kaido just totally was just like, screw this guy, we're done with him. But I almost feel like this madness, this tyrant character is going to be more of a Kaido thing, where he's going to be backed into a corner of some kind here in the next however many chapters.
So
I have no idea how much longer the fight will go.
The reason I think in terms of Orochi being that character is because you got to think that he thought all along that the Scabbards were alive for 20 years. So that gave him 20 years of potential preparation, despite what the public may think, because he has his own personal task force. We don't know what he has up his sleeve. I think it's just because he's insane doesn't mean he's dumb. He's easy to hate. I hate him. He's one of my most hated characters, but he's also clever. And that's how he survived as long as he has.
Can I also make one more point as to why I also think he's dead?
Sure.
I always forget his name, Fukurogaju, or whatever the heck it is.
Oh, Nell's uncle.
Yes. Anyway, Fukurogaju also seems very,
shocked.
He seems very shocked And this is somebody who's worked for Orochi for, we would assume, the last 20 years. He knows about Orochi's powers. He knows all these things about Orochi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like this is a moment of even just feigning, like, shock to his opponents. I literally think he is shocked at this moment.
I think it's more because he recovers pretty quickly from the looks of it. I think it's more a matter of like, oh, my lord's got attacked. But
I think the reason he has to recover is because he's about to be attacked by Raizo. I think that's the reason he has to recover. He's caught up in the heat of the battle.
And plus, we don't know what kind of battles Orochi's been in, if any at all.
Yeah, true.
So for all we know, he and his force of ninjas may have been enough to keep people away from Orochi, combined with Kaido's forces to this point. So maybe he doesn't know what Orochi can do. He knows what Orochi can turn into, but he's never seen an actual fight.
True. Or seen all of his heads cut down like that.
So I think this might be just as much of a mystery to him as it is to
it's possible
to the Scabbards, because it just feels like it would be pointless to bring him back to life for a chapter and a half and then just end him.
Maybe the fire itself will be his legacy in this moment. Maybe what he starts the fire and it'll start... Because we're already on a time limit as is. Onigashima is heading towards the flower capital. This fire might also just help put in more of a time limit of we need to finish this fight for whatever. Is that how I want the battle to go? Not necessarily. I want Oda to take his time, make sure he tells the story to the best of his abilities. I don't want him to rush this.
I really don't know what I want in terms of where this is going. And I kind of like that because I feel like...
No, for sure.
What he does do is going to be great and I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But the fact that I can't really predict it and I can't predict one that I'd be really happy with, it's going to excite me.
No, I'm happy that I'm not able to predict it. That's why I'm saying I'm going on a limb. I think Orochi's dead.
Yeah.
I will be fine if he's not because obviously he wasn't before and I felt happy when I realized not even that I realized, just that in my head it made sense that he wouldn't be dead from Kaido's attack earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm more satisfied if this is his ending point with the Scabbards, because I'd rather the Scabbards be the one to cut him down than Kaido.
Well, if that were the case, then it would be interesting to see how that's explained.
Sure.
Because it just wouldn't make sense.
No, for sure.
In terms of just...
And maybe they kidnap Fukurokuju and he just, exposits some stuff, which, I mean, exposition is going to happen whether you are a fan of it or not. It's going to happen.
For sure.
I want to point out a couple parallels that I really enjoyed in this bit before we move on to the next. Orochi's talking about, the two people that were just deceptive, right? His own Kanjuro and then Denjiro. And I really like Denjiro moments, so I'm really pumped with that.
Yeah.
So we have, the parallel of both sides had, like, an insider that was doing, messed
questionable
up stuff.
Things.
Yeah. And then there's a panel at the end where one of his dragon heads is laying there. And it reminds me a lot of the panel where his other head, like his normal head, was laying there.
No, and that's the only point there that makes me think the possibility of him being alive is there. Yeah. So,
and anyway, I didn't know that Raizo and Fukurokuju, they had a rivalry either.
Yeah, that was new. That wasn't revealed. That was revealed this chapter.
There's
actually.
some history. Some history there. Some ninja.
I was gonna say
Nimpo.
It seems like ninja beef, basically.
Because I'm excited for a fight like that. I want to see some full on like.
Well, time for some Naruto in the One Piece world.
A little bit, yeah.
It's Naruto.
I'm definitely getting that vibe right now. Remind me, does Raizo have a devil fruit? It's been a while since
I don't think so. I think he's pure ninja.
No,
I think he's pure ninja.
Just got ninja abilities. Does Fukurokuju have it?
I don't think we've seen him fight yet. Really.
No.
We've seen nothing of Fukurokuju.
We've seen all his followers fight, but we've never seen him fight.
Well, the precipice of a fight is definitely in that hallway between those two and wherever the samurai are going next. Let's get to the rooftop, where there is quite the battle going on. As you described, Brock. Absolute hell for taking on 2 Yonko. I do love that they keep showing the skull, because it just keeps reminding me of that Zoro slash that took off.
And it's such a perfect fight. It's such a perfect fighting platform for a battle between the 2 generations.
Yep. And if this in this moment, I know all the Zoro fans are really pumped for this. You know that combined attack of 2 Yonko. And now you guys help me out with this because
can I just have a nerd moment?
Jump in.
It just reminds me of all of our D&D sessions where we were like, let's have a combined attack.
Right.
It's almost like Big Mom's having her own like nerdy moment as a player in a D&D session where it's just like, hey, let's do a combined attack. We've never worked together before, but let's do this.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing that made the Yonko like each such powerhouses, but never like as a conduit together. Because
obviously when they were on rocks, I'm sure they had plenty of these moments.
They weren't the Yonko then,
no,
right?
Exactly.
So this is really rare and ridiculous. And help me out. Does Zoro full on stop this, or does he just redirect?
I think he stops it and takes the hit. Or at the very least, I think they might all get affected, but I think he took the brunt of it.
Because the dude survived that.
Yeah.
Ocean sovereignty.
Yeah, like when I saw that, I was like, when I first saw that, I thought Zoro was going to be out of the fight right then and there.
Yeah.
So when I saw him moving after that, I'm like, bro, you're more monstrous than I thought you were, and you're one of my favorite characters.
And there's a panel there where they're both like Kaido's like, what? Big Mom's got the exclamation points, and Kaido's just, Zoro is just staring them straight down.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I was very happy for my boy.
Yeah, and like it's just great when like I love when one person does something to make both Kaido and Big Mom just go like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah. I also love all the panels after that with each of their faces. Like, you got Kid to the right, Luffy, Law, Killer, and then Zoro like clenching, biting his sword, and then you have that huge explosion afterwards, taking off another chunk. It looks like
some more rocks, rubble.
Chunk.
It just And now this is interesting. I can still hear their voices.
So I think that's just something wrong with us reading the non-official release translation. I bet you anything that's going to be like their hockey or like
the voices, it usually refers to their spirits that they can hear through observation.
Yeah. Or they just talk really loudly about, wow, that really sucked. Are we all good?
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. And like literally the next panel, I'm like, why did the voices have to be in quotes? Because like these guys are all probably just yelling at each other right now.
No, it's definitely. I'm certain it's observation.
Yeah, it had to be something to do with his own hockey being able to like.
Because even in like the anime, depending on the translation, it would be translated either the voices or their life energy, something like that.
I just think it's interesting because we just heard Momonosuke talking about he's.
I can feel that Luffy, he's still in high spirits, but he's badly injured.
Right, and now Kaido's bringing up a similar thing. It's almost like a parallel between the two dragons of like either listening or sensing outside of themselves.
That is also a possibility. Maybe Kaido and like just dragon has like a life energy sensing something.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see just what I want to see more Kaido specific attacks because we've seen plenty of Big Moms.
Well, we got Thunder Bagua,
but that's about the only thing. Besides that, is Fire Breath.
Fire Breath. What's it called?
Blast Breath.
Blast Breath. But like
you mean like hybrid? Like
I want to see
attacks.
I want to see his fighting style. See if it's more than just brute. Fuck you up, you know?
Right. I love Luffy's moment after all of that, where it's basically like, did I scare you?
Oh, are you afraid of getting hurt, little man?
No, I do love that because why are you dodging Kaido? Is it because it would hurt?
Yeah, and you can tell Kaido's pissed from that.
He's like, really mad about that,
and he raged.
That was so funny. Like, he got Luffy, but at the same time, it was like, dude.
The fact if Luffy survives this, because I mean, oh my gosh, like this is a hit right there, and then towards the end of the chapter, we get an even more intense hit on Luffy, like direct Kaido hits.
Oh yeah.
If he's alive, like props to Luffy. I
mean, of course he's alive.
He's alive.
Okay, I'm gonna venture myself a little bit into the world of ridiculous theories and say maybe we've heard about this, this immortal surgery thing, right? If Luffy was just ended right there, and then they did have to do something else.
So just to get you ready for what's to come later, Alex, Sakura jumps through a warp and she cuts into Luffy's chest and she pumps his heart until somebody can heal him.
Yeah, that's
what's going to happen if he's actually dead, buddy.
Well, I mean,
actually we did see it. We saw 3 Realms Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
which is
super sick
dude,
attack.
His legs became a tail, and he still had his arms, and he was still wielding. Oh,
I'm so
Kaido!
excited. I'm so excited to see this animated.
Oh, Kaido looks
It's gonna be so
good.
cool, and it seems like. Does this mean that his attacks are gonna have a Norse theme, or is that just the name of that attack?
Well, so there. Let's get to the end of that because there was a. I don't know about you guys, but I had a note there on the Ragnarok. So we'll see what the actual translation is tomorrow. But
Can I also? There's another parallel there. Zoro has a realms attack, doesn't he?
I don't remember it.
He like spins his swords and says something like 7 realms or something.
No, that's 3,000 worlds.
Well, doesn't he have? I swear.
So what he said, I can't remember it word for word, but it's like the eight realms and the 7 seas, and there's nothing I cannot cut.
I'm gonna look into this
He
because
does a chant before he uses his secret move.
Because I feel like I've heard a realm attack from Zoro, and I'm just not sure.
I don't know if that was the official name of an attack he's done, but I know it was like the 8 lands and 7 seas.
I'm not going to spend too much, but I feel like I've heard him say realms before, so I think that's another nice, just another nice connection.
A little parallel.
Yeah, and more parallels.
And then we got the wonderful plan.
Oh my god. So everything with Kaido, absolute brute strength, absolute anger, absolute destruction. And then we go to the Big Mom side, and it's all intelligence and strategy, and
they're taking out each of her main assets.
Yeah, and she doesn't even realize what's happening. Because she's so, like, overconfident in her abilities. Go through it.
So right after the Ragnarok attack on Luffy, where he's gonna be fine, but Alex thinks he's dead.
Yo,
so
do you hear another word from Luffy this rest of this chapter?
No,
I'm just saying.
no.
I'm putting my tin hat on.
Because we're letting the strategists do their thing really quick.
Tin hat.
The people who actually think when they fight.
Because all of a sudden we see this really neat little box made out of all these scraps that kids put together, and he's telling Law it's ready to go, and you see the size of it behind them. It's a decent sized box, and Law, not being able to affect necessarily Kaido or Big Mom, then uses his room and shambles to put Zeus inside of said box.
It's a Zeus in a box.
Zeus in a box, baby.
So which then Killer, I find it interesting. Like Killer is acknowledging Zoro's strength here. I mean, obviously he has to, because he beat him earlier.
Right now Zoro's the only one that can cut through fire.
Yeah, that's true.
So Zoro's integral to getting rid of what's his name? Prometheus, and then he goes for the sword, which is very fast.
And he's wielding all 3 swords at this point.
And of course, it's just like, are you ready? I have to be, because he took a huge beating.
He's bleeding. He's bleeding like crazy.
It's amazing to me that he can actually continue fighting to that level after all that.
He is just cutting Prometheus up the way he had to cut up Pika's giant stone form just to make sure the job is done.
Nice call.
I almost wish he was down below being this thorough with Orochi's body just so I can be sure that Orochi is for sure dead.
True.
Anyway, so Big Mom has now lost Zeus. She falls off of Prometheus.
She's fallen down for the first time in the fight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crossroad of the 6 paths.
She even loses her sword.
So
Prometheus is running from Killer, which is I think one of the funniest, but also
it's not Prometheus.
or Napoleon. Napoleon.
Yeah, that's right, Napoleon.
Napoleon's just like, stop! I'm just a normal. No, you're not. Get over here.
He's all hitting him. He's like, get back here, bitch.
I love that Killer's just chasing a sword. I think that's going to be so funny.
Well, I didn't notice this on my first read through, but Prometheus is still alive.
Oh yeah,
he's alive. He's alive. He's just broken into pieces.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll have a way to quickly go back together, though.
Okay.
I mean, he's being cut with hockey. That would be the assumption.
Also, looking at this part where Killer's chasing Napoleon, you're really beginning to see just how fragile these characters are by themselves. Obviously, Big Mom's still a monster by herself.
Big Mom is the powerhouse behind them.
It's so funny because usually, these 3 are like looking all menacing with her, but you put them alone and they got tears in their eyes and they're like, Mom, help us.
Yeah.
When you think about it, they're just a percentage of Big Mom's soul.
Yeah.
So if Big Mom's the powerhouse and they're like like
They're
maybe
just tools.
They're accessories.
2 to 5% of her soul
Yeah.
split up into an item. Yeah, they're nothing compared to the full powerhouse that is Big Mom.
For sure.
Sorry, another parallel here. Just like Luffy's getting demolished over there by Kaido, Kid takes quite a full-on hit from Big Mom, and that looks like it hurts.
But I think this one was intentional.
No, very true, very intentional. But both of these, the 300 million man and then 315 million man from Savity, right, are both taking full-on Yonko hits here.
Well, they're also the biggest bruisers.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah. So
Do you see his face?
It's very intentional what he took here, but I didn't realize what he did. I thought there was something in Big Mom that he was using to repel. No, he actually grabs her
arms.
with his metal arm, and he basically lifts her up using that, repelling it with his magnetism.
And takes a fist to the face, a fist that kills giants.
He says
Yeah.
By the way.
he says repel after taking that.
Yeah. So he took it like a champ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely, I think his, because remember, he was also tortured with Luffy in the prison.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he was just as, I don't know, physically durable. Not as physically durable as Luffy, obviously.
Well, he's also
Luffy,
tortured for
Luffy,
longer.
yeah, and Luffy's made of rubber, whereas he's not. But we know that he can take a hit.
Well, that's the thing. Is so I having just Alex has just gotten past Sabadi, but it was where all
I rewatch it.
all three of these guys like teamed up
Was
for
the
the first
coolest.
time.
Yeah.
And it made my heart happy to see that, just to see where they're at right now.
It's quiet there.
Because, oh my gosh, they are so much stronger. And literally, even with Kid's never been one of my favorites, but he's really coming into his own here in Wano.
And he, say what you want, he doesn't win every fight, but he has gone up against the strongest people and lost multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And he is still able to get back up.
Still kicking.
What I
Still
like
kicking.
too is that, and this is something I previously didn't know about him until now, is he makes such a show of being prideful. When it comes down to it, he's a really good team player.
Yeah.
He'll deny it till the end of
Well,
the
and I forgot about
world.
the moment when they first teamed up against the Marines back in Sabadi. So Luffy, obviously does his whole thing where I'm going to be the Pirate King, doesn't matter, I'm going to be the Pirate King.
Yeah.
And Kid gives him the look, and he's just like, I used to kill people who made fun of me for that. And it's like, I'm on the level with this guy where we both have the same goal.
Yeah.
And it almost kind of gives them this camaraderie, even though he intends to kill Luffy at that point.
The Vegeta to his Goku.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Straight up,
That's what
that
I feel
feeling
like.
is what it was.
And if we put bounties as power levels, currently at that time had a higher bounty as well. So it's almost like an
Just
obstacle.
because he was willing to kill
Yeah.
people.
Oh, he terrible though.
He hurt civilians.
Yeah,
he was
true.
a terrible person.
I mean, I don't think he's much better, but he's helping us right
But
now.
it's
which is what
nice.
we want.
But it's nice to see a bit more of him. It's especially in the way that he cares about Killer.
Well, can I also say, maybe now remembering that moment, maybe the civilians he hurt were literally like,
making fun of him.
yeah, it was almost like a Bellamy thing.
Oh, the guys in the bar that were laughing, and Bellamy was hitting Zoro and Luffy, and they weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Whereas
Kid would have not
Kid.
taken that and Killer too by proxy. They probably just didn't take it sitting down, so they probably just killed
Yeah,
civilians.
it doesn't seem like Killer's crew goes around killing random civilians.
No.
It definitely
No.
seems like
It
definitely seems like it was for a
seems like it's a
purpose.
provoked. Whereas Luffy was taught from a very young age that it doesn't matter if they spit or pour drinks on
If
you.
it's not worth fighting.
It's not worth fighting about. Now, if they hurt friends, that's where shit gets real.
Right.
So,
Anyway, Big Mom shot into the air. We got Law with the strategy, tact, switching her with he just moves.
So no, he
So
just
he
moves a
switched.
boulder.
Well, he switched Zeus into the box,
Right.
and then he uses a giant boulder big enough to launch
He
Big Mom.
uses a move called Tact.
It's the one that moves stuff. He did
Yeah.
this in Punk Hazard.
and he's able to
And
get her
it's actually
off
bigger
of
than
the
her.
island. Yep.
It's so funny. She still has the overcut to be like, you numbskulls, what's the point of hitting me with a boulder?
That's because she doesn't know where she's at.
Yeah.
They bamboozled her so badly that she doesn't even know where she's at until she was like, I'm falling! Zeus!
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think Big Mom she's definitely not the smarts of her operation. She may have
No.
good ideas of alliances and who she should team up with or have kids with in this case. But she definitely is not the best
I think
thinking ahead fighter.
I think out of the four Before Yonko, not us, of course, the actual Yonko. I think
The lesser Yonko.
Blackbeard and Shanks are the big strategists.
they're the strategists for sure. Like there's thought behind what they do.
Kaido has always had his brute strength. Big Mom has always had brute strength.
Kaido, he's more of a street smart guy in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
For
think
sure.
about it. The
Like, he's like,
smiles-
this is how the world works, but I'm not going to think too hard about how I'm going to kill you. Type thing.
And the smile, the whole smile factory and everything, that was his plan.
And that was him
Executed
gathering.
by Dofi
Yeah,
and all
that
the
was
rest
that
of
was
the
him.
underworld.
That was him using his pull to gather people who are good at what they do around him, as a proper leader usually does.
He pulls them in, and then
That's
Big Mom
what-
pushes them out. And that's how they build their crews. Now, obviously...
You sick.
Napoleon is being chased by Killer.
I just got it.
We've got...
It took me. It
What's
literally-
wrong with you?
Yeah, he pushes them out. She pushes them
She
out.
pushes them out.
Ah.
Zeus is trapped in a box, and then Prometheus is in pieces. So does someone save Big Mom?
Well,
I think this is where...
This is where you got to put your tinfoil hats
Well,
on, boys.
remember, the whole crew, she made it up, and Perospero made it up.
but the rest of the crews aren't.
The rest of the crew haven't been up to Wano yet.
They're
Well,
floating.
Perospero is on.
He's on there.
Onigo.
Yeah,
Yashi.
yeah.
Perospero made it
But
up.
the others, the ship.
the ship is down
we
there
haven't-
still.
we haven't seen it
Maybe
back up.
here's the thing. I bet you Perospero saves her.
I don't know if Perospero is going to be able to see her
He doesn't
falling.
have something that flies.
But he also is not going to be able to see her falling. He's
I
inside.
don't think he'll be there in time. He's currently in the cabin.
True. Based
Yeah.
on the angle of Onigashima that you see here, she is like almost below it completely.
Yeah.
There's no way
Because
Perospero is going to
the only
magically
thing
know.
I could think of him doing is maybe like he shoots out like a candy something from the rock, something that he can attach onto.
Yeah.
Whereas, but
Obviously,
No.
they could have Oda could have ways of explaining why Perospero could figure it out. Maybe
Yeah,
a fever
for sure.
card. Maybe there's a lot of ways that it could happen. But I think she's going to make it all the way back down, and her crew's going to be there to help
Yeah,
her.
either she'll land where they're at, or they'll find her.
this isn't the end of Big Mom, and I am probably one who says this isn't even the end of Big Mom in this fight.
No, me neither.
It is for
Yeah.
the moment.
Are you guys mad that, and maybe you don't see it this way, she's been clowned on
No,
a good
no.
number
So
of
I was
times.
actually going to say, with this chapter, it's frustrating. It is so frustrating how much Big Mom is just made into a joke.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. She has to be beat at some point, but so far, it's just like...
Jinbei throws her.
Jinbei throws her.
She falls into the
Brooke
water.
can stand against her.
So,
like
She
I
gets
just-
chased after her. She falls for a cake.
She gets
Falls for a cake and for
she gets
food in the prison.
amnesia, which is like one of the most tired tropes in anything. And like, don't get me wrong, it was funny. There were good moments that came out of it.
Yeah, like being
And
trapped
I am
in
so happy that the moment she got her memory back was when Queen headbutted her. I thought that was hilarious.
Great moment.
But oh my gosh!
So-
why is Big Mom not being taken seriously?
I don't think she's being clowned on at all. So
Jump in, bro.
first of all, with Brooke,
Go off, King.
I'm queen. Anyways, no.
King's in a wall right now.
So, going first of all with Brooke, and can you give me the examples again?
So I just said that Brooke could stand against her, and I'm not saying that wasn't a great moment.
No. But the reason he
But
could is because
Jinbei-
she was playing with him. She wanted him as a plaything. She didn't want to kill him or destroy him. She could have destroyed him with ease.
She was sleeping with him by the end of it.
Yeah. And then Jinbei, I think he just caught her off guard. Like, Jinbei's strong enough for that. And also, he's one of the few people who was able to resist her soul-sucking thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Because
like,
he's not afraid of death.
And here's the thing. And, like, even I especially love in this chapter, because here's the thing. For so long, she's been in the same boat as Kaido's, like, physical attacks just haven't been able to hurt her.
Yeah.
And, like, she's just been floating there on her high horse, just like, these guys got nothing. I honestly think when you've been top of the world for long enough, you either become one of two people. You either become Kaido, who's just waiting for someone to be able to make you feel alive again, or you become Big Mom, who feels like you'll never be beaten again because you're that powerful and you've got so many powerful soldiers underneath you.
Yeah, Kaido's currently beating
Big
that
Mom's
person
just
into the
too
ground.
cocky.
She's too cocky.
Whereas Kaido is exhilarated by this fight.
Exactly. I think she had no. She was so confident in. She's lit. Her power is essentially stealing people's lives, and like when you put it in that phrase, she sounds like she's essentially almost a god, except for the caveat that if you don't fear death, you don't have to fear that
Which
power.
before such a time, it's been a long time since somebody was probably able to do that.
And then, like, with this whole thing, there were so many people coming at her at once, and they weren't hitting her. They were attacking all of her.
No, for sure.
Spirit.
It was one of her weaknesses
and this
is
whole
that
time-
she has depended on her homies literally for too much.
But I don't think she's ever been, like, laughed at or clowned on, because whenever she was on a rampage, people were legitimately terrified. People were like...
Her own kids were dying.
Her own kids were dying. Like, when the Straw Hats would run from her, they were running for their lives. They were like, we will die if we keep this up.
I want to fear her because she chooses to do that, though. I don't want it to be just this moment of she loses her mind, which, don't get me wrong, we've written that into the story. It's something that she's done many a time. But I want her to choose to go on a rampage and be fully conscious of it.
Here's the thing, is like, even if it's not so much the rampage thing, it's her callous nature even against her own children.
Oh, yeah.
That she's just like Kaido in that. I feel like this is something you're going to see among...
Kaido has a kid.
All the Rock's children, all the Rock's pirates besides Newgate, you know, that they'll probably have that self-same, like, top of the world, cruel, the angry god feel. Like, and there's different kinds. She's a god of gluttony and luxury, while Kaido is a god
rage.
Kaido is a god of
pride,
of war,
yeah.
And you know, like, they want two different things. Like, her thing, she doesn't want to work hard. She wants to eat, and she wants to rule the best kingdom in the world by her own standards, which isn't the standards of everybody else, because it's
a kingdom for everyone.
For everyone,
with
but very,
some rules.
very twisted.
Yeah, well, with the
vision.
life energy for living.
So, like, I think it's fitting, because if I were to compare her as, like, a ruler, it's like, I would compare, let's say, a Japanese daimyo. I would compare Kaido to Nobunaga. Oh my gosh. Oda Nobunaga, who's literally known as a demon king, who's a conqueror.
Oh, yeah.
I would compare her to, I can't remember his name, but he loved to play with balls. He loved to indulge. Kick balls.
Like a
he would kick.
like a prince.
Just fitting for Big Mom.
But like, he wanted to enjoy his indulgences, and like, and what makes her less terrifying than Kaido is just that her. But honestly, she's a spoiled child, and but I think that that's also explained in how she grew up. Like, she grew up such a nice child, but like, she just can't be controlled, and so she had to live with the fact that she would have to kill those who try to kill her, and then that warped her vision. And I will make this world what I want, where I can live and everyone else can live happily, quote unquote. And so it's just a matter of different lifestyles, you know, and I think we're going to see a lot more of her terror later, because I think this is necessary for her to realize, okay, that's how we're going to play it.
I was going to say, these little punks are actually...
Then I'm going to go full Yonko on your ass. I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, who saves her?
Because you remember, this entire fight, she hasn't been doing crap besides shooting from afar. Like,
she shot lightning at Luffy, which was a funny moment.
Yeah, I know, that was hilarious. But like,
it was funny.
It was funny,
and it was a gag on her, but also a gag for all of us. I think it's
just
enjoyable.
to remind us of the NL fight.
Yeah, well, and also that hadn't happened forever, and sometimes I think we forget that.
And to be fair, fire didn't work either, but that was just
guts.
Tough.
That was guts, bro.
Just guts.
But so I think we've yet to see it, like, because like in every time that she's been fought, it wasn't even a fight; it was a struggle.
All right.
The only thing that'll make this better for me, obviously, like, she will survive, and I'm pretty sure most of us think she will survive this.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that'll make me feel better about this is if, at this point, Kaido, thinking he's beaten Luffy, goes and he starts fighting the others who have now gotten rid of his most powerful ally up there on the roof with him. Starts beating them. And then Luffy kind of comes in for what would eventually start being like the final battle. Like,
Gear 5!
Like the Gear 4th...
Gear 5!
Maybe.
The Gear 4th moment of Onigashima,
Right.
like against Dofi.
So I want to go around the room there. So Burke, what's happening to Big Mom? Falling, getting saved, getting back up
I
there.
think at this point, her children who were on the ship that has fallen twice are up here. I actually, as much as you and I both want the rule of 3 to be a thing.
She hits the boat and it goes up the waterfall.
That is also possible.
Actually, you know what? When you say that, I think I'm going to go with that.
Actually, you know what? No, never mind. So that's the thing, is we don't see what's going on down below. I bet you anything, maybe we're over the waterfall where Big Mom's other children besides Perospero
It's pretty
are
close to Flower Cap, wasn't it?
currently
Yeah,
getting
it is.
up. And her falling on the ship knocks the ship back down.
Rule of 3.
Again. Just for our rule of 3, for the comedy of...
And now Blackbeard enters because rule of 3 is all about Blackbeard.
No.
God.
Sorry.
Their ship falls, Blackbeard arrives.
Once again, Blackbeard is not coming to Wano.
No, dude, Lucci.
Okay, Ryan, what's happening to Big Mom?
Honestly, when you said that, I think...
Yeah.
So I think that either it's going to be a gag and she's going to hit the boat and then the boat's going to fall for a third time, or she's going to make it down there and her kids that are in that other boat, her boat, are going to actually be the ones to save her. Either way, I don't see her kicking it. I also don't see her magically... I don't see her magically finding a way to get back onto Onigashima. I think it would be a detriment to Law and Kid and
All that work
they were doing. That was a great plan, and it took 4 worst generation powerhouses, supernovas, to do that.
I disagree with you slightly on that, but in a way I think you could approve of. I don't think she makes it back up to Onigashima before Luffy beats Kaido.
Oh, no. I know she's going to make it back up. I just don't think she's going to, grab the ledge when she's about to fall. I think she's falling all the way down.
There's only one rubber person here, and it's not her.
Exactly. Perfect.
All right, Brock.
I think I do.
Tinfoil hat, put it on.
Oh, that's where I'm gonna find it.
If NL shows up on, what was
The moon!
Arc Maxim, Arc Maxim, and starts flying her back up.
No. She's gonna fake her death. Contro's gonna draw a new Big Mom.
That's the new Big Mom.
And then Contro's gonna be he's gonna be the Kaguya of this world.
Okay.
Anyways,
Can we not?
All right.
What's happening, Big Mom?
Anyways, no, I think first of all, I think yours is very likely, Alex, that she'll fall down, and because I think that'd be just great. That'd be so poetic, and it's very One Piece. The One Piece can keep it light even in the most dire of circumstances.
Yeah, very dire.
I think it'll probably be something along the lines of that. She might actually fall into the sea, and they might do one of those, oh crap, she's drowning again, and a blackout, but then and maybe after the end of it, after everything's over, her crew will, it'll be found out that her crew got her.
Got it.
And there's he lost, let's book it, go back for revenge type thing, to be continued. I think that's also very possible. Okay. I agree, I don't think she's going to die. I don't know if she'll make it back up.
Before it falls?
On that note, just to kind of go with what you're saying, is maybe they retreat.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a moment where all of her children start to stop believing in her.
Oh, yeah.
And that infighting starts to happen.
Captain Katakuri!
Captain Oven, Captain Perospero,
No,
whoever.
Captain Katakuri.
Obviously, yes, we want Captain Katakuri, but...
Fuck Oven.
Yeah. That sucks.
But yeah, Big Mom failing over and over again. This could be the tipping point
This
for
might
the crew.
be the tipping point where all of a sudden everybody looks at her as a senile old hag. And
What else is new?
and a new Yonko starts to try and rise from that.
Or maybe a new pledge to Luffy and his empire.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Captain Katakuri might be a
He's acknowledged him.
for that.
That's the closest.
He's acknowledged him. He doesn't necessarily mean he's going to help
I
him
know.
yet.
Yeah.
Could be
But
possible.
potential, I think. I think there's a lot of...
But I think a retreat at this point for Big Mom is not going to be good for her on the world stage.
But I do think it's
anyway.
very possible for it to happen.
Absolutely.
And it probably won't even... And it won't... And if it does happen, it won't be by her orders. It'll be because she's knocked out because she fell into the water. And they had to fish her out well, this is getting old.
The only thing that could make it worse is if she got amnesia again.
She gets back about all of you.
If that happens, I'm taking a break for about 5 chapters.
Not from this podcast, you're not.
What I
I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to be like, la 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 la, I don't know what's happening, I don't know what's happening.
What's 3 in Japanese?
San.
San, so it's going to be the Sanko for 5 chapters. Is that what we're saying? No, I got you. I'm gonna.
I just would hate if
I
got
know.
amnesia
We don't
again.
need that again. Look, knocking the boat off 3 times, that's
That's
a
fine.
trope.
That's
Multiple
funny.
amnesia, that's unnecessary. No, I literally did say that as a joke. I like the idea. If that happens, I will be perfectly
No,
Honestly,
happy.
I think it's fantastic.
Now here is the moment where it would be the funniest for it to
Yes.
happen.
And it would make sense.
But for my theory, I'm gonna be.
It's wrong.
I probably will be.
You're wrong.
I was wrong last time.
Continue.
You were the only one that was right.
Thanks
for calling me out.
ultimate irony, by the way. First time, knocked down by a flyer. Second time, knocked down by a flyer. This time, just knocked down by a fat-ass woman.
By the captain. No, I think it's going to be a lot more simple than that. I think there's going to be a choice for Kaido. I think she's calling for Zeus. He's not coming. Prometheus, he's not coming. Napoleon's not doing anything.
Napoleon's not coming.
She calls for Kaido. And
Did you seriously?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying she's going to. Kaido's going to have the decision to this is the ultimate betrayal for him. And I think he's ultimately going to go, nah, that's my big sister. I'm going to just swoop down, get her, bring her back.
So you think Kaido's going to save her?
You think Kaido
That's-
has that big
You
of a
think
heart?
Kaido's going to retreat?
No.
First off, what do you
look,
mean by that's my big sister?
Remember when she was talking about ICU as a little brher just a few chapters ago when they were
Okay.
talking?
Okay.
I feel like Kaido's going to have a moment where he's like, that
Kaido's not going
stupid-
to have that familial thing.
You don't
It's-
think?
No.
I think you're
it's
giving
gonna
his
be-
heart
it's-
way too credit.
it's-
I might
well,
be.
that's the
Well,
thing.
he didn't kill Momo, so he has a heart.
He was going to kill him.
But he
going to
didn't. And that's why we have a lot of problems right now.
Just for you who didn't see us, both me and Brock just rolled our eyes really
look,
hard
look,
at Alex.
Kaido, there's got to be more to it. We don't have a backstory for him.
That's the thing, is Odin was beat because he thought it was Momonosuke. Kaido would have seen that and been like, no, I'm not going to let that kind of emotion get in my way.
Yet, he held Momo in his fist. He could have killed him in a second. It would have been not even a twitch of his muscle
Part
to
of
do
him
it.
was wondering is if he let Momo live, could he ever be Odin? That's the other thing. I guarantee
Well,
it.
he was definitely
And also-
right. He's not Odin.
And you also got to take into account
Yeah.
anime timing is different from World War timing.
Sure.
So that whole thing could have been a few seconds.
No, it definitely could have. No, I am not disparaging the fact that she completely lost everything that just happened there. I'm just putting out the fact that there is another Yonko there who seemingly has put down Luffy for a good amount of time, and he might have a chance to go, and get her.
Two things.
That's all I'm saying.
So
I'm not saying I'm right.
I know.
This
I'm
is
just offering a counter.
I think
I'm offering a counter.
Do it.
So you got to remember that literally their goal is to basically take over the world.
Right.
And then once it's over, they're going to start killing each other again.
Probably.
It's not a familial thing. It's literally we're the strongest right now as far as we know.
Yeah.
And Kaido, he's not
As a counter to even that, they made a partnership, and they're not done up here yet.
But it's also a war.
Hey, I said he had a choice to make. I would also see it if he looks at her and goes, that's how it goes, and keeps going after them.
And that's probably how it will be. Or maybe he won't even notice.
Right. So I think, in that case, she hits the ship. It's great as fuck. But I think the small chance that the only person left up there to save her that can fly and could easily get her is Kaido. At this point.
Are you ready for a bunch of censorships?
Oh, no.
You're full of... I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
It was like, here come the yo-ho-hos, everybody. Hope you liked that, viewers. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed me bleeping with yo-ho-ho. I might change it up to Luffy saying meat next time.
Miku.
Miku. Or maybe I'll do that one bunny. What is that?
No, we should do it for the Foxy laugh.
No.
I'm
I'm gonna yo-ho-ho that.
I thought the mermaid from Water 7 would be a much better.
Oh, fair. Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of the chapter. Anything else we want to talk about, guys, before we wrap up chapter 1009? I mean, it was a great chapter. No, I love how much fighting we got. Wano, up to this point, has been a really nice, breakdown of moments that are just between characters, and these intense fights. I'm really excited for
Oda has
the
been
end
doing a
it's gonna do.
fantastic job keeping the momentum going.
Yeah.
And I feel invested in each chapter. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? It doesn't feel like a fight's drawing on for longer
Well,
than
ever
it needs
since,
to be.
don't get me wrong, One Piece is just full of theory fodder, but ever since, chapter 1000, it's just been what's going to happen next? What can we see next?
Yeah. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped for 1010.
And there's nothing better than the fact that we do not have a break next week.
Favorite words in the whole chapter? No break next week.
It is fun to see.
Yep. Chapter 1010 next week. We'll see you then.
See ya.
All right, viewers, that concludes this episode of the Yonko Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the Boise Bros Official. Follow us on all our social media and check back soon for more One Piece content. We're off, boys. Till next time.